GM, everybody. Good day, good day.
GM.
Very unorganized Ben here, Sigrid. I'm so sorry. It's Father's Day. I'm guessing lots of people, I think the whole of Twitter is quiet. So I'm very glad we have recorded this one because I think people will listen back. But nonetheless, let us keep going and chat away. Hey, Libramons, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you.
Cool.
GE, I
GE
guess.
for you, yeah. How far ahead of you and me? Like you're...
It's only one hour.
Is it?
Extra. Yeah, it's, what is it, 9 o'clock?
Ah.
9 p.m.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a bit further ahead. Because, am I allowed to say where you are? Am I allowed to say the country you're in?
Yeah,
So
sure.
you're in Slovakia, right?
Yes,
So
correct.
I've been to Slovakia once before. I went to Bratislava.
Okay.
That was fun. It was a nice place.
I think I've been to Bratislava twice in my life properly. Yeah. I drove through or went to the airport, but I had to walk around and stuff.
There was a really cool art. There's like a street art thing that's really, really famous, and I can't remember what it is now. It's like some men and some drain covers or something.
Yeah, it's like a bronze statue, and it's a man sticking up.
That's right.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Cool, man. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm hugely unorganized, and I know we obviously had a space on Friday, so this can be a bit more casual. This isn't one of our standard episodes, which is why I didn't play the theme music. I'm gonna have to come up with some extra gallery edition theme music, I think, so that you gallery edition artists don't feel left out. And Sigrid, I feel so bad for you because this is your moment, and
I'm going to take another moment with my music.
But you logged off as Sigrid and logged back in as audio galleries. That is your commitment to the project. So I'm really sorry that you're not here under your own banner.
Oh, it's okay.
So hello to... Oh, there's not many of us here, are there? Boo-hoo. Well, hopefully more people listen back. I think this is a good one that people ought to listen back to because... And I think this is really really typical of the space right now. Like we free minted in January and people got all excited. And actually some people spent quite a lot of money then buying one of these in the secondary. And then nobody's here to actually hear that we've now activated and that people can now go and use their free mints and go and claim really cool art, which is just such a shame. And it's like, okay, we are now thinking really, really seriously about tactics and what we can do to go back out and to go and re-recruit the people out there. And it's like through OpenSea, you can see who the holders of the tokens are. So there's, you can be sleuth and you can go and contact them via Twitter and get in touch with people. It takes a little bit longer, but you can do it that way. But I think what this is really clear, what is really clear is that so many people have just maybe given up, which I'm really, really sad about. And so I really want to work hard to try and and I don't mean given up on us. I mean just given up on the space, given up on Web3 or NFTs or trading or whatever capacity they came in on. It's obviously been a dark time in the space, and we accept that and we acknowledge it. And so we really want to work hard to try and bring people back and have them be involved in something fun and something not too onerous, certainly not too expensive.
But yeah, have you seen that one of our whales is in our space right now?
One of our what? Sorry.
Calmstro. One of our whales, our big holders.
Oh yes, look at Calmstro. Hello, Calmstro.
Yeah.
Do you want to come up, Calmstro? Request to speak. It'd be lovely to speak with you. One of our gallery pass whales. You're absolutely right. I think Doug. In fact, I don't know. Doug might not necessarily be a whale, but he just bought a bunch when he wanted to mint the work. I've requested they both come up. I think Doug's coming up now. Hey, Doug.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
GM. Very well, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to have a space where we spoke a bit about the gallery editions because it's obviously new. And we're going to try and focus on these artists over the next few weeks, and then introduce a few others. And yeah, like it's a difficult time, right? Unless you're doing something and you've been taking the time to really build it up through OpenSea, like those kind of things. Those spaces, we had 400 people in that space on Friday. But when it's like something that on the surface seems less pressing, it's certainly it feels like a bit of a ghost town sometimes in crypto Twitter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think one of the challenges is, today is Father's Day.
Yeah, of course.
that throws a wrinkle. But it is in general, like the keeping up with the projects that you like. I'm literally part of like almost every other community in this space, and I only keep up to date with like maybe 5, like on a consistent basis. I check in like on a monthly to kind of see what everybody's doing, but my bandwidth as a creator is even more limited, and everybody's limited, everybody's working, doing things, kids, family, whatever. And so but I check in on like maybe like 5 to 10 like really regularly, but on a daily it's like maybe 3. It's like you, me, time, and then a handful of the artists.
Yeah, for sure. I it's interesting, isn't it? Like the space is it's just a very, very different vibe this year. And I don't think necessarily like negatively as well. Like OSF made a really, really interesting point recently on GM Web3 where he was like, year on year, ETH's up 40% so far, like this year, from January 1st to where we are now. So I know in the longer term, obviously there are some people that are down, but like, I don't know, it feels like it just feels like people are trying to figure out what's important to them, trying to figure out what to jump into and drop into. And so, we're working really hard at this end because we want to engage an audience of like art collectors. And I don't mean art collectors like 6529 going out and spending $6.9 million on the goose. I mean people who appreciate like artistic practice and want to be inspired, like to create themselves, and want to create cool works and like understand or hear about different stories. And so
yes, I love how you said artistic practice, because it's like with audio galleries we're collecting like the practice too, not just like the art or the name. It's like we get like a piece of the story and the detail and the person and the technique. And so to me it's like a way deeper connection to all the artists, and to you as well, which is really neat because you're the artist of the audio. And so it's awesome to just to see all that. But it is like a different vibe in terms of like it really is it's just like holistic, I guess. It really is diving down, just like what's your inspiration, what do you, simple things that you can't get from just looking at a picture sometimes
definitely
online.
So what we did, people who have been following along will have known that we started and we were hosting open editions. I mean, they were called open editions, but they weren't actually open. They were limited to the number of mint passes. Let's go right the way back to January. Let's bring ourselves all the way up to date in terms of how audio galleries have developed. Right. So in December, I took a month off. I'd been hosting a show on Rug Radio. I hosted it all the way up to maybe October last year, and I was due to do one, and I took one off, and then I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm not really enjoying this show anymore. It sucks. It doesn't suck, but I just didn't see, it didn't have a great deal of longevity. Like I felt like, and I still feel like, in fact, that a lot of Twitter spaces and Web3 spaces are kind of like all consuming about like what's going on today and or like what the potential of Web3 is. Seems like everyone's always being like, when we get to mass adoption, imagine that we could do this, and here's what happened today. And I'm actually, it really wears me down. I wanted to create something that was really focused on great production value, making a show that people could listen to like it was a podcast, where they get to listen to and learn about somebody new, somebody who they could admire for their creative process and their creative spirit, I suppose, and also collect some cool things along the way, because in collecting, they would be spending a little bit of money, but a few people spending a little bit equals a lot, which means I could reward, or not reward, but share in the spoils, I guess, with the guests. It means I could create content, pay myself, pay the guests that come on, engage a community to enjoy fantastic artworks, and we'd all be happy. Like, I didn't ever want to become BAYC or anything like that. Like, that's not the intention. It's all about just doing something great and being rewarded for the energy you put into something. And so in January, with very little idea about where that was going, I dropped a free mint. It was called Pass Number One. It's an artwork which is based on a scribble that I did. I like to do these scribbles that are kind of like cubist, and they're very much like hand-drawn scribbles. You know, I'm not like an artist, so to speak. And but it was a cool bit of artwork. I really liked it, and I thought, right, let's just do it. And it's going to make me hold myself accountable if we do it. So we did it, and we allowed people to mint 5 at a time. And I think we minted 20-something thousand. I can't remember exactly how many. I'm going to say 23,000, 22,000, something like that. And that was fun. And obviously that was to 4,000 wallets. Many had 5 each in their wallets. And so the next thing we did is said, okay, let's see who's paying attention. Let's get them to burn 3 to claim the mint pass for this show we've got coming up. So we did that. And lo and behold, we got 3,450 mint passes, which was massive compared to what we didn't expect anything like that. So 3,450 mint passes to about 1,500 wallets. We're now at like 1,900 wallets because people have been collecting them as they go, which is brilliant. And we launched the show the first weekend of February with Cychrome. And the idea behind the shows were, if you held a mint pass, you had an allow list spot. So you were able to mint the work. And we did 6 or 7 shows in that fashion, which was loads of fun. In fact, Doug, you were the last show we did in that style. And I wish now that you'd been in on the OpenSea vibe, because actually I think Munch would have flown. But, you know, alas, that was timing. We didn't know what we were doing at the time. And what happened basically is that we continued doing that with a closed allow list of people who could mint it. And then I kind of like forged a really good, healthy relationship, which I still have today, with the people from OpenSea, particularly Tristan from OpenSea, who is their head of, I guess, partnerships. And she and I get on very well. We were hosting some shows together for another project she was working on. And she was just like, why don't you come over and do this on OpenSea? And why don't you just make it open rather than close it to an allow list? And people who hold that pass, you still need to think about what you're going to do that's special for them. You could ask the artists to create a second special piece that people who mint and hold the mint pass get airdropped to them. So they still have benefits and value to their mint pass. And now you've opened this up to everybody, and you've got all of OpenSea's eyeballs and marketing attached. That's great. So we were doing that, and we've been doing that with, who have we done that with, Sigrid? Let's go through it. We did who did we do first? Amber Vittoria first, then Nyla Hayes, who's incredible, then Chris Kay, then I think Philip Colbert, which was generative, so they don't have to just be a single artwork anymore. Then Sarah Script, and then Friday, Arena BB. So 6 people we've been doing this with now with OpenSea. And it's been stacks of fun. But many of the conversations I'd been having actually with some artists whom I really admire in the space were going down the route of, do you know what? Like, this sounds a lot of fun. We're really up for it. But I'm really, really conscious of my supply. And I don't just want to do something that's open. And I want to be more protective and more kind of cautious about how many artworks I mint. And I heard that a few times. I've probably had about 10 or 15 conversations where that's been the route that it's gone. And so Sigrid and I were thinking, okay, well, what can we do that sits alongside the open editions that we do with OpenSea, which for many artists is really, really like exciting because it's about exposure. But I think for some artists, that exposure isn't the name of the game for them. It's more about like their artwork long term and the perception and the value and all of those things. And so we have created a collection called The Gallery Editions. If you go into OpenSea and type in The Gallery Editions, it will come up. And it's essentially where we will work with either by commissioning or just working in partnership with some artists on editions that are in short supply, and making them available via lots of different methods. So like sometimes we'll make them available as burns, which we've done for the first 4. So we've got an amazing artwork by Sigrid, who I'm speaking to in a moment, an amazing artwork by Libramons, who's also in here. His artwork is stunning, and both Sigrid and I love it. And yeah, he's got one in the collection too. We've got one with Mabutes, who is another great artist, community member. And then finally, we've got Lurk. And Lurk is a friend of mine who has been in the space for a long time. And he was really excited to join in and help out too. So we've got these 4 artworks out at the moment. And if you've got the previous past number 1s that I spoke about earlier, you can also pick them up on OpenSea. I think it's 1 past 1 for Sigrid's piece, 2 for Mabutes, 3 for Libramons, and 5 for Lurks. And then, but that won't always be the mechanism. Sometimes I'll make it that, so say I commission a piece, let's just say out of, like, just as an example, Doug, say I commission a piece from you, or I work with you on a piece. But you might turn around and say to me, Ben, I love this piece of work. It's really different from what I do. I only want there to be 100 of them. So we say, okay, cool. And we make an allow list, which is all Toy Boogers holders and all Audio Galleries Mint Pass holders. And they are the only people who can mint. Go. That's how that might work. Or we might make it that it's only people, like I could speak to Cychrome tomorrow and he could say, here's an edition. I only want there to be 5. And the only people who can mint this one are the people who minted and still hold the first open edition I did with you back in February. Or we might make it that it's a free claim. And we might just be like, do you know what? We've got this beautiful piece of artwork and this artist has said that they're happy for us to share it. So everyone, maybe it's an open claim like to anyone in the world, or maybe it's an open claim to a particular group. And then there are other instances where it's like just paid for and could be paid for open to everyone or paid for to a small subsection within the group. So this is about creating a collection of 1155 ERC 1155 NFTs that are in limited supply, where allow lists are either set or not set. It's a burn, it's a claim, it's a paid for mint, lots of different ways into it. And the idea behind this really is that we get to continue to host lots of cool shows. I mean, we'll still be hosting the shows with OpenSea and our open edition mints, but these ones are smaller, I guess, more intimate shows with the people here who are still most engaged. And that's the other thing to count for as well, right? We've got 3,450 mint passes, but we've probably got about between 300 and 500 of them being used at any time. And so this collection, the gallery editions is something we're creating so that those people who are engaged and they're listening in and they're paying attention, they get to mint things that are smaller, more intimate, as we say, perhaps a little bit more special, and join in on those things. So that was the idea. I don't know if anyone's got any questions on that, but that was really what we did. So we set that up. It launched last Wednesday, or this Wednesday just gone. So we're a few days in. I think 50 pieces of artwork have already been collected, which is incredible. Like, we didn't expect it to be, as we said, never expected it to be really quick out of the blocks, because so many people in the space have kind of gone into hiding. And there are so many people out there who have got these NFTs now in their wallets, and they're just not paying attention. So they don't realize that they can now go and collect exciting artworks. So we're going to work on activating and engaging with those people on an individual basis, like one by one, because I think that's the right way to go about it. And we'll also be hosting cool shows that are focused on an artist that is providing a smaller, more intimate piece of artwork with us, as well as continuing to do our incredible collections with OpenSea, the open editions. In fact, we've got an amazing generative starting this Friday with a wonderful artist called Karen Jersic. She's a photographer, but also very, very multidisciplinary, and she's created this collection called Goofballs, which I see. Have we spoken about yet? No, we haven't spoken about it yet. Sigrid will pin something in a moment about Goofballs. Won't you, Sigrid? Because I don't know where they are.
Wake up. Yeah.
And
okay, I will search it.
Yeah. But every trait in this wonderful collection of characters that Karen has made is made out of clay. Like, she's modeled, sculpted every background, every face, every body, everything is all made out of clay and hand painted. And so that's been loads of fun to pull together and goes live. And she's done the most incredible promotional video for it, which I can't wait to share with everyone this week. So that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, we're continuing all that stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a little introduction to Sigrid for you all, because I think Sigrid has created a wonderful piece. You all know her now from within Discord. She's been working really hard with me, and in fact, I'm really, really pleased and proud to say that Sigrid is now like working absolutely with me as a partner in audio galleries. She has been so valuable in terms of creating the visual side of what we've been doing. She's basically helped me co-brand everything. She's worked on all of the assets that have gone alongside what we've done to date. She's got huge desire to continue to do that, particularly with Munch and Mumbo, but actually throughout what we're doing. And so I'm really, really excited that that we're going to be working really, really closely together, both Sigrid and I. So, hey Sigrid, how are you doing? Welcome to Audio Galleries.
Hey, hello.
That was a very long introduction, like 30 minutes.
Very long introduction.
Are you good? Have you had a nice weekend?
Yeah, I've had a very great weekend.
Lovely.
Just relax, and it's still very, very sunny and bloody hot weather in the Netherlands. So hanging around outside, and it's Father's Day, so this day we had a very great brunch together, and so yeah.
Very nice.
Weekend.
Lovely. Well, I'm pleased to hear it. It's also very nice and warm here. A little bit showery, but lovely and warm here. And yeah, Father's Day has been a blast. And I kind of almost forgot that we had a show. Almost.
Oh, no problem.
Sigrid, tell me then a little bit about, let's move away from Sigrid, the incredible support and main person in audio galleries. Talk to me instead about Sigrid the artist. Tell me a little bit about your career to date when it comes to being an artist.
Yeah, I've got maybe a very strange career, because I studied physical therapy, and I practiced it for almost 16 years. But I wasn't very happy at that moment. There was very much other people saying what I had to do, and I don't like when people say what I have to do and want to do stuff I like to do. I was already, after 5 or 6 years being a physical therapist, thinking, what else am I going to do? So I have had a career as a photographer. I studied it, had my own business, I liked it, but after that, I haven't got enough time to manage my own business and being a physical therapist, so I choose the money and go, I just went back to the physical therapy. But after a few years, I've got some very severe eye problems, and I had to be have some surgeries about it, and at that moment, there was only one thing I can do, and it was draw, because I couldn't watch in the distance, because when I was I couldn't drive, or when I was looking far away, I saw everything double. I don't know the good.
So you had double vision. So you had to have some surgeries on your eyes. Okay.
Yeah, and the only thing I could do was draw. So I started drawing, and I really loved it. And I was thinking, why am I not going to do this for my business? But I hadn't any degrees in illustration or art or something, but we had the social media. So I started posting my work, and that was where people found my work. And I've got some very good commissions. At that moment I was thinking, when I've got some commissions, I can get more commissions. But when I want to have that, I really have to quit everything about the physical therapy and go all the way for my illustration. And that was what I did 5 years ago. I started with some watercolor paintings. I don't know if it was also in other countries very popular, but some sign painting, hand lettering, so making the posters for people with very juicy quotes. But I was quite good in it. So some big companies came and said, "Hey, can you work for us?" So, oh, okay. And after a few years, my business went very well, and right now I can live from it. So, and right now I'm making murals, paintings, digital stuff, traditional artwork. So yeah, I'm quite multi-talented. If I can say it for myself.
Yeah. Well, no, we all see it. One of the things you also did, I know, you've told this story a few times in other capacities, but perhaps not through audio galleries, is you made, I never know if I should be calling them GIFs or GIFs, but but you have some pretty viral GIFs out there, right?
Yeah, that was when I started discovering the digital art, and I got my own iPad, and then there was a few, you could make GIFs with it, and I started to make some, and I uploaded them to Jiffy. I don't know what's the.
Let's say Jiffy. We'll say Jiffy for now.
Okay, let's Jiffy. Okay, I uploaded them, and just almost forgot about it. But a week after it, I opened my account, and I got 21 million likes.
Wow.
And that was amazing. So I was just jumping around the house. Wow, 21 million.
21 million likes. And which one was that for particularly?
It was a thank you.
That's right. The thank you one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, right? Oh, so no, you carry on.
Yeah, but I've got a few which went viral. So yeah. And that's great, but you don't earn any money with it.
Right, and that was kind of the point I was going to say, is that it's really interesting, right? You get 21 million people like and use your thank you GIF, and you don't get paid for it.
No, not a single cent. No. Yeah. So but it was the start for me that I think, okay, I can do some animations. And I was starting my business around COVID. at the time of COVID, and at that time I was making a lot of chalkboards for restaurants, but they all closed. And I was thinking, okay, I can make animations, so why am I not going to make animations for businesses? So I started making them, and yeah, that went also very well. I had a lot of companies who hired me to make their stuff and their social media gifs.
Awesome. And
so that's the way to make money.
Yeah. And that's the bit, that's what I admire about you as well, is that you've been able to come into art and design and illustration, and you've really focused on, okay, like, how am I going to make a career out of this? Like, what things can I do in it that are going to generate revenue? And that's something that I really admire, but also one of the reasons, like, I really wanted to work with you is that, like, we both have that appetite to create great things that people can enjoy, but also, like, try to understand the angle that we can then use to monetize it. And that is, you know, I say that really openly. I don't say it in a sense that, yeah, I just want everyone's money, but I do say it in like, hey, we've all got to pay the bills, right? And so that's something I really admire. Talk to me then a little bit about, like, your style. Do you have a set style? Like, you've talked about being multidisciplinary, you can do lots of different things. Is there a style you've got, or a particular thing that you like to do?
I think it's a little bit cartoonish. I don't think I've got one style, because I do a lot of things, and I love to do a lot of things, but I'm not a very realistic drawer. I really like to make them a little bit cartoonish, a little bit sometimes abstract. But I really want to make illustrations who can also be animated, So that's also the thing I really love to do and want to do. I know you know him, DK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love DK.
I think 5 or 6 years ago, I started following him on the Instagram, and I always said, when I'm so good that I can make that kind of art, that's my future. I want to
DK, I would say, is probably in our top 5, right, of people we'd love to bring on the show.
You want to have me in our show?
Yeah, and we'll keep working. We will get DK. I'm certain of it.
But I really love the way the way of how he animates stuff in a looping. That's really what I want to do. And that was also a little bit of the animation I made for the gallery editions is also just ongoing animation. No start, no end, just go. And I really love to make that kind of stuff.
So your gallery edition is it's back a couple, I think, isn't it? Did you put it in here? Did you put it in? Have you pinned a tweet? Oh, goodness me, Sigrid. Pin a tweet with your beautiful gallery edition.
I will.
But so Sigrid has created one which is called A Day in Web3, which is fantastic because it goes through day into night. There's lots of animated parts of this just lovely room scene. You can see stocks move or floor prices moving up, and Munch in his rocket on his way to the moon, and there's Wen and GM and all of the different kind of like salutations that we have in Web3, all kind of like hidden amongst it, and lots of your patterns too, right? You like to create patterns that can be used for desktops or mobiles or those kind of things too.
I've pinned my artwork.
I love it. I also love how that has kind of like connected you a bit to Doug, and that you and Doug, and I love the fact that Doug's up here with us now, because you and Doug are, you've become friends through what we're doing here, but also you have taken the work that he has started with us with Munch and Tombow, and you've started to create more things with it. What's that been like working with Doug, and then with a creation of Doug's to create the Munch and Tombow brand so far?
I really love the way Doug supports everybody and supports me in my journey in this. Yeah, I think when you told me, okay, we're going to launch our own mascot, and we're going to make a story with him, and I was thinking, okay, and you told me, okay, you can animate them, you can illustrate them, do something with it. So I was thinking, okay, what kind of character would it be? And I was so glad it was a real Toy Burger's character, because it's a very clean one, but he's got so much expression in his face and in his. You can make so amazing things with his body and his arms, and so yeah, I really liked it when I saw the character of Munch. And
I love that.
I really love there's going to be much more about Munch and Mambo. So I really like the way we can communicate with each other, and when I make something or Doug makes something, we can talk to each other from, oh, do we like it? It has to be a little bit different. Where can we do it? So yeah, I really love to work together.
Yeah. Doug, I don't know if you're still there, buddy. I appreciate it. How's it been for you having someone like pick up your artwork and play with it? Like sometimes without your permission, just go into it. Like, what's that been like as a process for you?
It's actually been really fun. And so Munch and Mambo, remember, everybody is the first CCO characters that I made. And I was ready for it. It was like, all right, let's see what happens, kind of sending them out into the world and just waiting to see. And one thing I could say, which is really, really cool, is that Sigrid was able to somehow like intuitively really pick up on like really deep vibes and story and ideas that I had with these characters. Because Munch and actually Mambo were two really early drawings I did that I actually brought back to life. I think I drew them in maybe 2017, and they just sat there for a while, but there was this whole story of like exploration and like all the fun goofiness. And as soon as I put them out there, and I think the first one that really caught my eye was they were like flying in a bubble. You put them in a little bubble, and they were kind of like flying around this planet, and it was like, oh my God, that's like exactly what I like. And people will see more as the story progresses, but and then other things like, so I guess what I'm getting at is like there was some sort of like intuitive connection where I think you both kind of just picked up the vibe and ran with it, and like where you ran with it was exactly what I was like envisioning way back then. And it's like coming to life the way I actually kind of saw it, but not under my direct like supervision, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I
quite
think
magical.
we never spoke to each other before Munch was launched.
Yeah, it was just I think there was just a lot of like connection. It was really neat to see that, and so I'm just really excited and honored and happy to see it like take a life of its own. But it's also in a direction which I kind of like was hoping, and so I'm just like, even if it goes a totally different direction, I'm okay with that too. But it's just really neat to see like the synchronicity and the cheer and just the fun and the goofiness. And I love the jokes, and that knock joke you made with I love it. So yeah, keep up the great work. It's awesome.
We actually have some really fun Munch and Mambo stuff coming up this week. So anyone who's been following along that ride can really look forward to the next chapter of what we're doing with Munch and Mambo as it begins. It's a long chapter. And there's lots and lots of activations within it, but it starts this week. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Sigrid, okay.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about your style. We've spoken about your NFT a bit. Like, tell us then a little bit about why you love creating. Like, what is it that it brings out in you?
I really want to spread some joy. I think the world is so sometimes boring, but also with lots of angry people. I really want to get more color in the world and make people more happy. And most of the paintings I make are with a lot of colors. And I also really love to teach other people how to create. And because when I think a lot of people are very creative, but they don't dare to show their work. So I really want to encourage them to show their work and to bring more color and more art and more happiness into the world. So that's really why I like to create. Because I think with making art you can express yourself, and it can be happy vibes or it can be some sad stuff. But I think with creating art and putting it that way into the world is better than keeping it in yourself.
I think that's lovely.
Yeah, and I hope to stimulate people to make more art, create more. And even if you're not very happy with your stuff you made, there are always people who like it. I think the first time when I uploaded my drawings on Instagram, it was, looking back, it wasn't very good. But people, look, it was the first stuff. But when you just keep creating and publishing it, people give you advice or tips, and so you can grow. And I really want to see people grow and make.
I think
more
that's
stuff, make
that's
more
really
animation.
nice. Yeah, well, and it leads on then to kind of like what we were talking about a moment ago. Which I was going to talk to you about next. Sorry, which is like your plans. Like, you know, I'm so delighted that you're working with me now in audio galleries. So let's put aside my hopes for audio galleries in the future. Like, you are a partner with me now, and so you get to steer the ship too. Like, what do you want? What do you want to achieve in the space, or what are your plans for yourself, your artwork, audio galleries? Like, what's exciting you at the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I've got a mission, and that's something, like I said before, I really want to let people create their stuff and educate them. So I think what I want to do in the audio galleries is more, I'm making a Procreate course. It's the final touches have to be done, and then we can publish it so people can start learning to make digital art. And I want to make more content about art history or content about how to make stuff. I really want to get people also creative themselves, and I want to build a community with people who loves art, who loves to talk about the art, but also give them a stage where they can present themselves in a safe environment. So not the sometimes very rude Twitter space, but our own community where they can share their work and ask for some tips and advice from all the other people.
I love it. And this is exactly what I needed. Because it's everything that I forget about all the time. Like, I'm always trying to find like a thing with an angle so that people get mega excited and all of that kind of things. And like, that's really important too. It's, you know, the lifeblood of what has got us where we're up to and what will continue to like on board. But actually, when you think about what's going to really keep people engaged and believing in who we are and what we do, I think it is about the fact that we're really encouraging creativity, like from everyone, everywhere. And so I love that about you, Sigrid. I think it's amazing quality, and I'm so stoked that I get to work with you on that. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Well, look, we have got Karen actually in the space. And so I've just invited her up to speak. If she can't speak, that's cool. Karen, don't worry if you can't. But if you can, maybe come up and say hello, because our plans for this space she's waving, hey, were to say, give me a down thumb if you can't. Oh no, she's up. The plans for this space were to give Sigrid a moment to talk about her and her inspiration, but then we put at the end here, then pin a Karen tweet, and we'll share the space for next week. So, Sigrid, would you be so kind as to pin the tweet that I did a moment ago, where I actually put in the spaces for next Friday?
Yeah.
And while you do that, Karen. Hey, Karen, how you doing?
Hey, just playing.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out playing Animal Crossing.
Oh my God, I love that fucking game
so
much.
obsessed with it. I just I spend real money on it, by the way. Like, I spend money to go to Treasure Islands, where you can just like pick up anything you want.
Wow.
Yeah, embarrassing. There's a little embarrassing tidbit about me.
Well, I spent real money on Animal Crossing yesterday because there was a massive version of it at an arcade that I took my son to. Like a huge version of it. It was like I don't know, like a 90-inch screen in front of me, and like you could play it like arcade style with people stood around you. It was amazing.
Oh,
so
man,
yeah,
that's awesome. I love it.
But Karen, you're releasing an amazing collection, a generative collection, which I'm going to publish tomorrow morning so that people can start to see it on OpenSea, called Goofballs, a generative collection of clay made characters and backgrounds that you've created. Do you want to give us a very, very quick, so that you don't ruin it, a very, very quick introduction to your collection that's coming up?
Yeah, so okay, quick. So it's all made out of clay and painted, and I'm just not good with the AI photoshopping. I never have been, so I'm a huge making things with my hands, going to real places for photos, making costumes kind of person. I'm just like a physical builder. That's what I'm best at. I don't think I'll ever get out of that that whole phase of my life, but yeah, this was different because it's like the most I've like ever sculpted. I'm kind of like learning as I go, because for the past like 20 years I've been just primarily a photographer, and then the past like kind of 5 years, and then with COVID and the lockdown happening, I started doing new things, and then Web3, when I joined in like Web3 in like 2021, I was like, oh man, I saw like that I had different opportunities with things that I've always wanted to do more of, or I've always wanted to try, in terms of like, kind of steering away from photography and just kind of like breaking up, doing the same thing over and over with, trying different skills and stuff. So yeah, it was really fun to work on, because I would just like sit in front of the TV and make, I just use like little styrofoam balls, and I cut them in half with a styrofoam cutter, so like all the faces were the same. That's kind of how I came up with goofballs, because I'm like, oh, all the faces kind of, I don't know if anyone grew up in the 80s, but there was these things called mad balls. They were just heads. And when I was trying to, I kept thinking of like, oh, I want to use that name, but I can't, because that was a toy like forever ago. So, but yeah, I think like anything clay or anything like that, like I always think back to my childhood, and I love growing up in the 80s, and I feel like I'm a kid at heart. Like, I don't feel like a 41-year-old adult. So whenever
you and me both.
Yeah, whenever I can, I just like to do kind of like, yeah, like, I don't want to say kid things. It's not like anyone can enjoy it, but yeah, I like having, I guess, the outlet to do stuff like that, where people actually appreciate it and understand it, and I have a reason for doing it. So
love it. Well, I can't wait to speak with you on Friday. There are two tweets that have just been pinned up in the nest. One is GM, which is Karen being very, very excited. Included in that is amazing. And we're not talking about it now, but I cannot wait to talk to you about your promo video. You sent me it this morning and I woke up and I was like, holy shit. This is like something someone just commissioned to be produced at a studio, and it took weeks to make. And I can't wait to understand how you put it together. It's fantastic, Karen. It's so good. It's so amazing. It should be minted in its own right. And maybe it will be at some point.
I agree.
We should talk about that.
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, and then the one before that is by me, which says join us on Friday for episode 16 of Audio Galleries. And there is a link to the space. Please, can you all now go and click and set your reminder and retweet that reminder, because this is a conversation I'm really, really looking forward to having with Karen. I can't wait to have you up on the show on Friday. So thanks for coming up and joining us for a moment. Okay, everyone. Well, look, I appreciate you all coming out on Father's Day with very little notice. If you came in late, please go back to the start, because I do talk in detail about the gallery editions, which is the new initiative by Audio Galleries that's going to sit alongside our open edition mints. Something that we're really super excited about. We're going to be building it over months and possibly years. It's going to be something that we work on for a long, long time. We'd love you to get in on it. It's funny, isn't it? I don't like to look and compare myself to other people. I think the moment you start looking at the race other people are running, you forget to run your own race. And so I try not to do it, but I can't help when the people at 6529 are spending $6.9 million on the second most expensive generative piece of artwork ever, but turn around and say, actually, do you know what? The guys at 6529 and memes and like what they're doing there is an absolute inspiration to Audio Galleries and what we're all about. Like the idea of helping people curate and discover exciting art that is completely relevant to Web3 and the future of like artistic creation and the space here, what's being built from a technical point of view, but also from a creative point of view. Like that's the benchmark. And yeah, we're not there yet. I'm not daft, but that's where we're going. And I mean it. That's absolutely where we're going. And by hook or by crook, like we'll get there. And so join us now because it's cheap. Because it's cheap right now. No, but because we can grow there, we can get there together and we can have loads of fun doing it. So that was my little rally call. Do you all feel highly motivated and excited by my call to action there? Thumbs up, everyone, please. Okay, look, have a wonderful Sunday. Sigrid, thank you for being wonderful and not using your own Twitter, but actually using Audio Galleries for the cause. I'm very grateful for that. It's been wonderful learning more about you and your experience and your creativity, and we'll do this again. Libramons, thanks for coming up. We're going to have you next, I think. So get yourself ready for next Sunday, and we'll have another session with you.
I'm already panicking now.
Don't worry, we'll be gentle with you. We look forward to it. And Karen, I can't wait to see you on Friday. In the meantime, everyone, enjoy your Sunday morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I'm going to play us out with some Björk because I love her and she's a Sunday kind of gal for me. So everyone, listen to some Björk, dance around your kitchens, enjoy. See you all next week. Have fun, everyone. Bye-bye. This is Audio Galleries. Conversations